This is question number 10, and again it has a large diagram, so I've sort of scrolled off the top part of the question, but it basically said you are given these two functions. F of x is 5 over x squared plus 1, g of x is x minus 2 squared, and they want us to sketch the graphs on the axis below, indicate clearly the points where the graphs intersect the y-axis, and you can get on your calculator. I highly recommend that when you use your calculator, you set your window to the screen that they've given you. So from -4 to 4 for your x's, -2 to 10 for your y's, and that will give you roughly the same screen as what you're asked to sketch. So to make the sketch, we need to graph the equations and enter the two equations in, as you see I've done, and then set your window to the scale that the graph's been given, so -4 to 4 for x, -2 to 10 for y, and that makes our graph window similar to the graph that you're given to draw on. And we can see the first curve is a bit of a bell curve, and we have a quadratic. Because they want us to find the y-intercepts, the best way or quick way to do that is we can calculate the value when x is 0, because that's on the y-axis. And for the first curve, we see that the y-intercept is when y equals 5. And then to get the second one, which you can arrow down, you see we change to the second equation, and the y-intercept is 4. So now we know our 2 points that we're going to use to sketch and make the graph, and we can see the general shape of the curves, and that's what the IB will be looking for when they assess these two. Your x's, -2 to 10 for your y's, and that will give you roughly the same screen as what you're asked to sketch. And so let's see, I happen to know they, again, showing where it crosses the y-axis. Now the first one, when I look at my graph, it crosses at 5, so really I should be making a mark right about halfway to make that 5, and then this graph just sort of, let's see if I can make that better. That's for that side. Roughly a bit of a bell shape as that. And then your g of x, and it would be y's. You can label these graphs, and g of x happens to, I know, intersect the y-axis at 2, and intersects, the x-axis at 2, and the y-axis at 4, and it's a parabola, so we just need to make it look parabolic. But make sure it goes through your y-intercept. So there's my rough sketch. And then for part B, they asked me to use my calculator to find the point of intersection. And so we will jump to the... Then we can use the calculator to find the points of intersection. And we should know how to do this, is to calculate, choose number 5, the intersection, and then placing our cursor where we think they intersect. And we just need to hit enter 3 times. We can move our cursor a little closer if it moves, and then we find the intersection -1.948, so we'll round that up to -1.95 for our answer. And then we need the second intersection point, so we just have to repeat the same steps, and this time moving our cursor closer to that intersection point that is to the right. Once again, just need to enter 3 times, and we find that that intersection is at 2.761, so 3 significant figures, just 2.76. All right, here your answers for part B then are that it's at negative 0.195. That would be your first points of intersection. And over here, my graph doesn't show it so well, but it should be 2.76, our 2 points of intersection.